Hello and welcome to Sports This Morning. I'm Cecilia Omogbe.
I am Taya Salam. Many thanks for joining us again. All right, we're starting off the show with good news for Nigerian players, good players on the move. Starting first of all with Henry Onyekuru
and Dennis
Bonaventure. Henry is going back to Galatasaray, where it seems to be, like a home for him now.
Yeah.
While Dennis Emmanuel Bonaventure is going to Cologne from Club Brugge. I think both loan deals, by the way.
Of course, for 6 months to the end of the season.
Exactly.
But Onyekuru's own there is the option of buying. But I think maybe Galatasaray would just want to keep him because he loves the club.
Yeah, I see no reason why this deal will not be permanent at the end of the season. All right, then we say fingers crossed. Let's move on. Still talking football, Cecilia.
Thomas Tuchel, of course, we know his favourites to take over from Frank Lampard that was sacked yesterday. But the story everywhere is maybe that guy is being brought in to actually get the best out of the German machines that he spent so much money on. But somehow Frank Lampard just doesn't know how to use them.
Interesting. Of course, it's no longer news that Frank Lampard has been sacked as a coach of Chelsea. But Thomas Tuchel is the guy. As a matter of fact, he's expected in England today. Chelsea fans, talk to us on the show. What do you make of the sacking of Frank Lampard and Thomas Tuchel as his imminent replacement? Also on the show, basketball this time, the NBA, where it was a very happy and winning homecoming for LeBron James.
Of course.
Went back to Cleveland after 2 years and absolutely dominated the team, scoring 46 points as the Lakers maintain their perfect road record.
10. I mean, 10-0. That's Lakers for you. Yeah, Road Warriors, obviously. And the 4 games they've lost this season happens to be at Staples Center. Interesting. But we're starting out, we're starting out with the NBA. With Tuesday's games, all of them, starting, of course, with the Lakers and what they did to the Cavs. 115-108. I mean, what a proper beatdown.
It was always going to be that way. The Lakers are pretty much the best side in the NBA right now. And added motivation of James going back to Cleveland as well. You just knew they were going to be in trouble. And that's exactly how it panned out. So we're going to see pictures coming from the Lakers and the Cavaliers. It was 115-108 in favor of LA. And LeBron James, like we said, was simply awesome. 21 of his 46 points came in the fourth quarter in that game. And like I said, his first game back in Ohio in more than 2 years.
Okay, and of course, he made very big history on the night, right?
Yeah.
I mean, how do we start it down? Okay, for him, he actually became the first player in NBA history to tally 46 points, 8 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 blocks, and of course, 2 steals and 7 three-pointers.
Wow.
I mean, that's according to stats. How best can you describe that on a historic night?
Yeah, for LeBron, we're kind of used to the greatness right from when
it just kept coming on.
Right when he was drafted all those years ago, season 18 now. And what he's doing is just incredible. And no one has done it before. That's a fact. 36, so how old is he now?
Yeah,
I mean, it's just ridiculous to be playing at this high level. That's why I said we've gotten used to the greatness of this man. It's become so normal. It's not the norm. What he's doing is absolutely abnormal, and that's why he deserves a lot of credit. Season 18, he's still the front runner for the MVP. Still putting up big numbers on a nightly basis. No load management. You can go on and on and on.
About him. I mean, he's just something else. I mean, Anthony Davis has given it to him. He contributed 17 points, 10 rebounds, and Andrew Drummond, of course, led the Cavs with just 25 points and 7 rebounds.
All right, wasn't enough on the...
Not close.
Anyways, let's get our reaction now coming from LeBron James and Anthony Davis.
You get an opportunity to see your mom and get a home-cooked meal. Saw my uncle. Just felt good to be back in my, in my haven, my rest haven. And that's being home. So, and also, obviously, you get inspired watching the greats play and, seeing Brady, see the things that he did with that team. That inspired me as well. But I just felt pretty good. I mean, as I have the whole season, I've been getting better and better as each game goes on, and felt good from the beginning and just trying to keep it going. It's fun to watch. You know, it's amazing to see the shots he make and the shots he take. You know, he's a hell of a player, great player, and you know everyone's cheering for him. He's back at home. You know, we missed it last year, and so he get a chance to come back and score maybe 45, 46, or something like that. Back at home, so it's fun to watch. But I think for everyone else, we made shots for him to open the floor up. And when we made a couple of those shots, he was able to have the paint. He was able to have his jumper, you know, get to that line. He had whatever he wanted. And he carried us to the win tonight.
All right, then that's Anthony Davis speaking after LeBron's performance against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Yeah.
Okay,
with the way
let's
the
leave them.
Lakers are playing, I was just going to say the Lakers just are really good. And I understand why a lot of general managers have chosen them to repeat as champions.
Okay.
All right, then.
X-Way, right. Kevin Durant staying hot in Brooklyn. Okay, right? That's where we're moving to next.
Yeah. No, I mean, yeah. Let's talk about Kobe.
Okay. Okay, right.
Yeah.
Kobe before Durant. No.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this, the NBA games first.
All right,
We
then.
ended up with Kobe, right?
Okay, then.
Okay, I mean, that's
right.
more like it. Sort
It
of.
was 1 year.
So yeah, you can't believe it. Okay,
Okay.
but talking about the Brooklyn Nets and what they're doing, I mean, we said when they lose, yeah, it's big news. Yeah, they won again, so
Yeah.
it's a big deal. They know they have to win, yes.
Of
And you can't
course,
have James
James
Harden,
Harden.
KD, and of course, having Kyrie, and then you're losing a game, no?
Yeah, well,
No,
they've
you
lost
can't.
twice already, so
Yeah.
it's not impossible.
That was a fluke. The second one, there was no KD.
No, it wasn't a fluke. Come on, Cecilia.
That's what James Harden is saying. I mean,
All right.
that was a fluke. And now,
Anyways.
I mean, the best is yet to come. So let's talk about them.
I agree. The best is yet to come. This time around it was against Miami. Back-to-back wins for them over the Heat now. James Harden and Kevin Durant scoring 20 points apiece, despite relatively quiet 3 quarters in that game. And it was a very big run in the fourth that got the victory for Miami. Kyrie Irving added 16 points on the night. And one good thing about this game as well is that all 5 starters scored in double digits.
As usual.
Well, I'm not sure whether it's as usual. We're used to, I mean, since these big 3 came together, we used to seeing them score the bulk of the points. But yesterday, all the other 2 starters scored in double digits as well too, and that kind of helped them offset the not so spectacular performance from KD. And anyway, 20 points by their standards.
It's very low.
Exactly, that's my point. So you can see the celebrations at the end there, the big 3. Happy that they finally gotten another victory, despite the fact that it was quite tough. Let's listen to Steve Nash and James Harden and Kevin Durant.
Yeah, you know, he was great, obviously, and made some big shots and plays. Starting to see a glimpse of the things he can do scoring the ball. You know, like I told the guys after the game, we're a game past the quarter mark. We played, you know, an incredibly dense schedule. I think we played more games than anyone in the league. And guys were tired tonight. We couldn't buy a basket, and they had a lot of good looks. Tired shooting the ball, but also tired in that we were a little stagnant against the zone after a really good performance against it the other night. So, you know, overall, just the fact that they hung in there and that James stepped up and made some big shots down the stretch.
We'll get started with Michael Grady from Yes Network.
Hey, James, we know every game is not going to look, perfect or artistic out there, but in terms of learning different ways and figuring out different ways to win, how big is it as a team to gut this one out?
Huge for us. We didn't have the best scoring night offensively. Defensively, we just stuck with it, made it very, very difficult for them. They played well that first game, and then tonight we expected that same thing. So we wanted to come out here and just be aggressive on both ends of the floor. Obviously, we didn't, offensively, we didn't play well, but defensively, I thought we were active. out there where we could test the shots and just made things more difficult for them as a team.
You know, we rely on, you know, him to make plays for us and just be himself. You know, whatever the game presents, you got to be prepared for it. And I think tonight he came with that scoring effort late in the game, and he also created stuff for us, you know, from his penetration. So any given night could be anybody, and tonight James was great for us.
Kevin Durant taking no chances with COVID out there.
Although,
Everywhere all covered up.
all covered up. I mean,
Face,
you can barely
nose,
recognize
mouth.
him. Everything.
Yeah, interesting.
I mean, he had it before, so he doesn't want to take any chances.
Exactly.
But then on that game, give it to Bama Adebayo. This time I wasn't 40-something, but they had 26 points and 10 rebounds, but just not enough. They lost 3 straight games now. 3 straight.
We need to consider, we need to factor in the issues that Miami are having at the moment. They're still playing without Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
There's no Avery Bradley.
Yeah.
There's no Tyler Hero.
Yeah.
There's no Myers Leonard and Maurice Harkless.
Yeah.
That's like
4 big guys.
5 in total. And they're going to struggle. And that's exactly
obviously. That's what is happening to them right now.
All right.
Hope they can bounce back. Okay, let's take a look at the guys who put up some numbers on the night, if we can, before we talk about Kobe Bryant. Can we do that? If we can talk about those guys, put some numbers.
I'll just talk about them quickly. Starting with Malcolm Brogdon, 36 points, 7 rebounds, and 9 assists for the Indiana Pacers in their victory. There's also LeBron James.
There's also LeBron James.
46, 8, and 6. Fantastic performance from LeBron James. Luka Doncic, yet another triple-double, 35, 11, and 16. And last but not the least is Stephen Curry, 36 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. So those are standout performers on the night in the NBA. We're not leaving the NBA just yet. Let's quickly talk about a very, very sad and a very somber note. It's 1 year since Kobe Bryant, basketball legend Kobe Bryant, passed away in an helicopter crash. And Cecilia, I haven't still gotten used to it. That Kobe
he's
is
just
no
not
more.
there.
Like just like that, this is incredible. Of course, we cannot forget his daughter as well, to Gigi, unfortunately passing away. In that terrible, tragic crash. Cecilia, I find it so hard talking about this because
it's hard.
Kobe was one of those guys who was supposed to just live on and on and on and on until gray hairs started to come out.
He smiled. It's
it's just so surreal and it's unbelievable. But Kobe is no more, but then his legacy definitely will live on forever. Today is the anniversary of his death, and there's a lot of remembrance going on about Kobe right now. And Cecilia,
Lakers, obviously, the worst hit team or not, because it was with them. Staples Center literally built that.
Of course, team, man.
It's team. So at the end of the day, it's like 5 rings for them. A one-man club who stayed there all through his career. At the end of the day, well, it was a tragic one just 1 year ago, but it still feels like it's not really, I'm just trying to wonder what, the wife and the kids are feeling right now. The one left behind because I remember she posted a picture, appealing to the press to look. Whenever you're trying to remember him, please, I do not want to see pictures of the helicopter crash and all that. You could get, she doesn't want to remember that. I just want to remember Kobe like this, someone who loved everyone. Cutting across the world, cutting across sports, not just sports. Entertainment, anything you can think about. Kobe, it's always there.
It's just sad. And like you said, the Lakers are the worst hits for obvious reasons. And LeBron was speaking yesterday. AD, they're still grappling with this harsh reality that Kobe is no more. Anyways, after the game, for the Lakers, the coach Frank Vogel spoke about their plans for this not so special day.
Yeah, it's to me, it's not really a day of remembrance. Those are days like his birthday and the 81-point night and things like that. This is more of a somber tone type of day. So I'm going to give our guys the day off and let them be to themselves and manage that day however they see fit. And we'll we'll have some workouts and shooting available if guys want to do that. But it's going to be a day off.
Yeah.
Day off for the Lakers. Go do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
In the memory of Kobe Bryant, but don't come to training. I'll say
Just
for me,
try and take off because I know how emotional it can be. I mean, if you remember the memorial, I mean, MJ was in tears. I mean, I've never seen him like he was. I saw MJ's face. I was like, this is Michael. I mean, someone that you think, okay, well, all of them.
Larger than
Big
life
shot.
guys.
I mean, guys like
the impression Kobe had on all of these guys across the world, across different sports as well. Anyways, I'll continue to rest in peace, Kobe Bryant. Let's go on to the Australian Open now. Cecilia,
of course,
it's just around the corner. And of course, all of these players in hard quarantine, they don't have a choice. The rules are the rules in Australia. And but they have to get on with it. And thankfully, the ATP and the WTA are actually creating special tournaments for these guys. So they can at least have some sort of preparations, decent preparations, going into that tournament.
Yeah, I'm talking about world number one, Ashley Barty. She hasn't, I mean, hold his tennis racket. I mean, competitively, for how long? For more than a year now, because she just told herself she was going to take the rest of the year off, so she hasn't played for a very, very long time. But then, she's going to be joining that star-studded exhibition, a match that will be played on Thursday, and she will be one of them. So she's expecting that will actually help her to boost, preparations for the Australian Open as world number one, and also from that country, everyone obviously will be expecting Ashley Barty to bounce back and see what she can get at the tournament. Let's take a listen to her.
It's a unique year. I think last year was also very unique in itself, but I think every single person, every individual has had a different preparation, and that's the beauty of kind of our sport, is that everyone can prepare in different ways. Everyone has their own processes that they go through. So we've adapted, we've adjusted, and I feel like come first day we'll be ready to go, ready to play. It's going to be my first competitive match in close to a year. I think it'll be 51, 52 weeks, something like that. So it's obviously nice to put all of our practice into a match and test out a few things and test myself against some of the best players in the world. I'm excited, and I think it'll be perfect preparation leading into the Australian Open.
Yes,
obviously.
She wants to test ourselves against some of the best players in the world. Some of those players include,
of course, Serena Williams,
Naomi Osaka, and Simona Halep. So it should be a very competitive exhibition indeed. All right, before we go on a break, quickly let's talk about the Olympics.
Yeah, the WHO.
The uncertainty continues.
Yeah.
And, of course, the talks now is about vaccinating athletes. But the WHO
they've got priorities.
Exactly, they've got priorities, exactly.
And they said the health workers obviously are priorities for obvious reasons, because if you don't have the health workers, obviously athletes will be talking about competing and all that. The health workers have actually helped, I mean, the word, so to speak, to be able to combat this virus. Let's take a listen, to
Mike Ryan. Mike Ryan's had a lot to say about this particular situation. He's the executive director of the World Health Organization Emergencies Program.
We obviously wish that everyone could be vaccinated, but Bruce and the DG before have clearly laid out, and we have over many days and weeks, that we face a crisis now on a global scale that requires frontline health workers, those older people and those most vulnerable in our societies to access vaccine first. We will continue to work with the IOC, we will continue to work with the host city, we will continue to work with the Ministry of Health, Labour and Welfare as part of their task force to offer risk management advice right the way through the process. The final decision on the risk management measures for the Olympics and the final decision regarding the Olympics themselves is a decision for the IOC and for the Japanese authorities.
Yeah, welcome back. Okay, you can talk to us on our Twitter handle. Of course, the big topic for today happens to be the sacking of Frank Lampard. And so many Chelsea fans actually wanted him out. I mean, Lampard out was trending even days before he was sacked and everything.
So many?
Then,
I mean, did you do a poll on that?
When I mean so many, for you to be trending, for that trend to come out, I mean, that's the angle I'm taking it from. Then there are a few, maybe like 20%, they want him to go. 20%, or let's say 40%.
What poll did you
okay,
do?
right, 40%. I'm going by this from what I gathered from social media. That's what I'm looking at.
Okay.
From what I gathered from social media, like 40% maybe didn't want him to go, but obviously 60% wanted him to go. And even right here at Channels Television, I mean, most of the Chelsea fans right here only one that said he should have, no, two that said they should have left him. I mean, he should build the team and all that. All others said, look, I mean, he needed to leave, especially a very big one that I know. I mean,
so our question is very straightforward. Let's get to our viewers as well, too. The sacking of Lampard was a harsh or the right call by Roman Abramovich. Talk to us on channels_sports, and we'll be taking your tweets before the show is over. Bada Akintune Johnson is ready to join us now from Lekki. I'll be doing a comprehensive preview of the games played in the Premier League, or that will be played in the Premier League later tonight. We'll also talk about the FA Cup that was played last night. But before all of that, Bada, first of all, good morning. Thanks for joining us on the show.
You're watching News Track on Channels Television.
Hi, Bada.
Okay, I mean, before we move on back to him, let's just quickly talk about the Super Eagles on the move. I mean, Super Eagles players on the move. Yeah. I mean, some players have changed clubs. Not really changing, I mean, it's going to be like on loan deals and all that. But one is likely to be permanent, starting with, Bonaventure. I mean,
first of
this guy, we're starting with him, is going to be on loan from Club Brugge to FC Cologne in Germany.
Yeah, fantastic move. Is going to a bigger league. Hopefully, he'll be able to hit the ground running and perhaps convince them to part with the cash at the end of the season if, if he wants to make that move permanent. There's also, secondly, is Henry Onyekuru. Henry Onyekuru as well to move expectedly from France.
Monaco, man.
He's not been getting game time at all, and has now joined Galatasaray, where he's had a very good couple of stints already. And the good thing about this move is there's an option to buy already in the contract. So it looks like at the end of the season, he might just be making a permanent transfer to Turkey. So those are the two Super Eagles players on the move. Of course, there's still some time left in the January transfer window. Any other move, we will be updating you on the show. But good morning once again. Quickly, let's talk about these two Nigerian players on the move, Henry Onyekuru and Emmanuel Dennis. What do you make of their moves, loan moves to Germany and Turkey?
I'll start with Henry Onyekuru, a player I had such high hopes for, especially after he moved to the Premier League. I thought his style was suited to the league. He's really quick, nimble, got a lot of trickery, like your traditional white player. I'm not so sure about his deliveries, but I always thought that he could improve on that, especially playing in a league like England. But it just didn't materialize. And then he went out on loan and he's gone to the French league where he didn't exactly cut it as well. And even the trajectory of his international career as well hasn't exactly lived up to what we expected. Speaking, the number of times he's played for the Super Eagles and the impact that he's made, he certainly has under-delivered. And I do hope that with this move back to where it seems like he likes the environment, he's been able to produce some semblance of quality over the course of his career so far, he can kickstart his career proper and then, continue to build from there. Right now, it's been an underwhelming career so far, but he's definitely got a talent. He's got the ability to make a more than decent football career from his abilities. So it's just hoping that he kicks on from here and knuckles down, gets his head in the right space, working with the club management structure, and understanding that he does have more potential than he's currently delivering on. With Dennis, we saw him score a couple of goals against Real Madrid for, I think, Club Brugge in the Champions League. And I thought that, he was going to be quite a name in European football and should still be, judging by the talent that he's got. Sometimes, what really determines how far you go in the game is just how, progressive the moves you make are from a club standpoint. He's moved now to the German Bundesliga, where maybe the game is a bit more technical and a bit more open. And there's a lot more emphasis on goal scoring, and he can bring a lot of his talent to bear and show the full gamut of his skill set in a league where goal scoring is celebrated, strikers are celebrated. I mean, I have no doubt that this guy has everything that it takes. The two individuals we're talking about this morning are people I looked at some years ago as the future of Nigerian football, but it hasn't exactly happened. But I mean, a new lease of life, a new environment, new management can kickstart something fresh and can be the sort of turn in the right direction that the player needs. And we just hope that's what this symbolizes and signifies for these two individuals.
All right, then. The good thing is that they're still both very young, so it's still a lot of years ahead in their various careers. Let's move on from those two guys now. Let's quickly talk about the FA Cup fourth round match that was played yesterday. But it was Tottenham taking on Wycombe Wanderers, and it turned out to be a very tricky game until the closing moments of that match. By the end of the day, Dembele and Bale and Harry Winks got the goals and got Tottenham out of jail. But I want to focus quickly on Gareth Bale. I thought yesterday he was the sharpest I've seen him play in a long time.
Well, but I mean, see, Gareth Bale is a world-class talent. At his prime, one of the best footballers in world football, and you don't want him. You don't want to be seeing his sharpest against lower league clubs in the FA Cup. Jose Mourinho has voiced, like subtle frustrations about his attitude and just his application since he's made the move. When that transfer from Real Madrid to Tottenham was being arranged, was a club legend coming back home. The plan was not to sit him on the bench for critical games and start playing him against Wycombe Wanderers in the FA Cup fourth round. The plan was for him, similarly, to come and form a fearsome attacking trio with Harry Kane and Son. But that hasn't happened. It hasn't gotten game time. And so I'm sure for the lovers of Gareth Bale, and that will be speaking to virtually all the entire fan base of Tottenham who absolutely adore him, they'll be hoping that goal yesterday night kickstarts something fresh, and the hunger is there and the fitness. There's no injury worries, there's no injury problems, and they can kick on from there and contribute meaningfully towards their season. Tottenham fans want to finish in the top four, and more importantly, they want to win that League Cup where they play Manchester City in the final game. So Gareth Bale has disappointed, but yesterday night he was something close to his best, producing that much-needed equalizer in a game where Tottenham struggled for the same reasons that City and Arsenal struggled over the weekend. When these big clubs rest their first 11 players and throw on a few of the regular substitutes from the off, it just unsettles the dynamic and the rhythm of the team. And once these lower league sides get the first goal, it's always going to be you trying to break down two banks of four, maybe three lines of defense. So it took a while, but Tottenham finally broke through Gareth Bale's goal, and then they had additional goals very much later on in the game. But Wycombe did give a good account of themselves, and it was good again to see on the pitch Akinfenwa, who's famed for more reasons than his football in England. It was great to see him on the pitch yesterday. Yeah, Tottenham had a big scare. Eventually, the quality told, and they qualified deservedly for the next round.
Yeah, after that scare.
Such a big lad. This guy can play a bit of football.
I mean, he's good. He's good. When he came on, we saw what he was able to do, touches he had and all that. He's fit. I mean, you can't doubt it.
So burly, man. Even that Wycombe
that's what he
squad,
loves.
all of them thick set players. They're like they've been pushing weights like every day. That's
where they are. I mean, just look at this between him and Jose Mourinho, just having a little chat and everything and all that. But he loves Liverpool anyway, so let's tell you guys that he loves Liverpool so much. Okay, let's leave the fourth round of the FA Cup and quickly talk about this one. I mean, the biggest story that came out. Yes, it was. I mean, after that loss to Leicester City, the handwriting was already on the wall, and everyone was saying, I mean, that could be Frank Lampard's last game and all that. And then the FA Cup, of course, we expected them to beat Luton Town. I mean, if you don't beat Luton, who will you beat? Tammy Abraham scoring all the goals. But then the problem started with when you spend £230 million and you cannot, use those players to actually win games. You still rely on the youth players players you used to finish top 4 in the league last season and also get to the finals of the FA Cup and also have a good run at the Champions League and all that, except the beatdown by Bayern and all. But then Frank Lampard is out of Chelsea and Thomas Tuchel is the guy in favourite. Of course, at the end of the day, today we might just be hearing that announcement that he's the new coach of Chelsea. Now, for you, Frank Lampard, was it too early to let him go?
If we're not being emotional about things, there's nothing like too early. If anything, Frank Lampard has spent the longest at Chelsea without a trophy since the Roman Abramovich era. All the other managers have been sacked quicker. Even those who won trophies, were let go quicker. That's how things work at Chelsea. There are no emotions involved. I guess people were hoping that with the credits he had in the emotional bank of Roman Abramovich being a former, Chelsea player and a club legend, they were going to afford him a bit more time. But it doesn't work that way at Chelsea. And that's why in the time that Roman has been around, Chelsea has been the most successful English football club. Yes, the hire and fire approach might not sit well with a lot of us. I don't like it. I don't think, I don't think a system that uses people as tools and doesn't give them an opportunity to maybe correct some of the things that might be going wrong is a good system. But it's not about, we're not moralizing stuff here. It's strictly a result business. And, it's a pressure cooker when you take the Chelsea job. And he knew it from the very beginning. So let's not get things twisted here. Frank Lampard knew when he decided to leave Derby County and take the job at Chelsea that he was going into an environment where he wouldn't be given that much opportunity to make mistakes. And like you quite rightly said, last season, I think maybe he had a long rope because of the transfer ban and the fact that he had to play the kids. And even with that, he went as far as the FA Cup finals and qualified for the Champions League. So going trophyless wasn't that much of a problem. And they were hoping to build on that, consolidate on that sort of success by splashing and splurging in the transfer market. And unfortunately for him, he's gone with players that don't exactly have so many years of experience on their CVs, but young, bright, talented, particularly 2 Germans in Kai Havertz and Timo Werner. Unfortunately, both of them haven't exactly delivered this season, and that's piled on the pressure. But let's not forget there was a period where they went 14 games unbeaten and went briefly top of the league before things went pear-shaped after that loss to Arsenal. Since then, they've lost 5 of the last 8 games, a couple draws in there as well, and they are now 9th on the league table. Of course, that won't make a delightful or pleasant reading for the owner when he looks at the league table from one of his yachts. He wants to see them in and around, the top 3 places, or maybe the top 4 places are worst. He doesn't want to see a mid-table Chelsea. That wouldn't sit well with him. And for the very first time since he's taken over the club, he's fired a manager and felt the need to release a statement because he knows that particular decision would have robbed Chelsea fans off the wrong way. Quite a number of them, and I hear you, quite a number of Chelsea fans actually wanted him gone. But, a lot of Chelsea fans out there and across the world still love him very dearly for all that he's contributed and still believed in the Frank Lampard project. They believe that he was still going to come good. And they are very quick to point to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at Manchester United and the fact that, United are top of the league now, but wouldn't be the case if they hadn't kept faith with Solskjaer, if they had rushed to sack him, especially after they crashed out of the Champions League just a few months ago. So in football, your luck can turn very quickly. And sometimes all it takes is just that one player like a Bruno Fernandes who comes in and, sticks everything together as a glue. So maybe, Lampard would have been looking at getting a player of that sort of quality to come in and make sense of the other, components of the structural system that he was trying to build. Unfortunately, they didn't, have that patience. And there were also talks of, a divisive or divided dressing room. Some of his favorite players, he sort of pampered and he, related with quite frequently. Whereas characters like Antonio Rudiger were ostracized and alienated, not only dropped from the first team, but he wasn't on speaking terms with them. And when, the inquisitions came about how he hoped to turn around the fortune of the team, he just didn't have the right answers. And his body language also didn't inspire confidence that this guy, if we left him in charge, had the wherewithal to turn, this ugly situation around. And at the end of the day, the board took a decision to let him go based on this thing. So it was, the nature of the job. You don't perform, you won't get a lot of chances to right your wrongs. 2, the transfers that didn't go right. 3, the dynamics of that dressing room at this moment in time when they're in trouble. It just seems like he doesn't have the confidence of the majority of all of his players. And when a manager is said to have lost the dressing room to a certain degree, that begins to make your bosses worry a lot. And when your body language is beginning to communicate defeat, beginning to communicate that you seem overwhelmed or overcome by the situation, sometimes just letting you out of your misery is the best thing to do. And Chelsea is the quickest club in the world to consider that sort of option, and that's exactly what they've done.
Roman doesn't hesitate to pull the trigger, and the Lampard project is over, but the Chelsea project continues, and Thomas Tuchel is that guy that is expected to take over. Before you get your thoughts on the imminent arrival of Tuchel, let's get to listen to what Jose has to say. Jose Mourinho, that is, has to say about the sacking of Frank Lampard.
Always sad when a colleague loses his job. And of course, Frank is not just a colleague. He's an important person in my career. So of course, I feel sorry with it. But like one of your colleagues was saying to me, is the brutality of football, especially the brutality of modern football. So when you become a manager, it's something that you have to know that sooner or later is going to happen with you.
Sooner or later, you're going to get sacked as a manager. That's the word. That's the harsh reality of football managers this day. But just 20 seconds, Thomas Tuchel is expected to take over starting from today.
I don't know whose quote it was, but one of the most popular quotes in modern football is there are 2 categories or 2 kinds of managers: those who have been sacked and those who are waiting to be sacked. So Tuchel will take the job, and then he'll fall into the category of those who are waiting to be sacked, because of course he'll be sacked at some point in the near future. And this is a manager who has a history of always falling out with the board of the clubs that he's managed. He did that at Dortmund, he did that at PSG. So I fully expect that he would have a few challenges at Chelsea. But he's German, so maybe that's some good news for Timo Werner and Kai Havertz, who are also Germans, and Antonio Rudiger as well. There's a lot of German presence these days at Chelsea, so maybe he can get the best out of them. But his credentials are not in doubt. He was still recently in Champions League finals with PSG, so I expect him to do a decent job. Roman wants to win trophies, but he also wants to win trophies playing good football. And you look at the young crop of players that they've bought, there's undoubted quality. There's this, a sprinkling of proven experience, like the Thiago Silvas of this world, around the team as well. So he's got, a squad of players that really can kick on and go and do something. And if you remember when Jose Mourinho was sacked, I think it was Roberto Di Matteo who took charge and led them to that Champions League trophy in 2020. Yeah, that in itself can form the catalyst, that pushes players to, outdo themselves and overperform. So if Tuchel comes in, gets in the heads of the players and gets them, together, they may just kick on from here and go and achieve something really brilliant at the end of the season.
All right, fingers crossed. We'll see how that pans out with Thomas Tuchel and Chelsea. But I want to thank you for your time on the show. Hopefully we can do this again next week. Thank you.
Me.
All right, then. We need to go on a break now. When we come back, we'll be talking about Nigerian Professional Football League 2, the scheduled game. No, 2 games from March 6 are played yesterday. There's also one more later today. The Twin, Canopilas, and Rivers United. Join us again. You're welcome back to Channel Sport this morning. Let's just take a look at the results of the games that were played yesterday in the NPFL. Adamawa United, Cecilia, kind of by a win. They lost expectedly against
Eimba.
Eimba. No surprises at all in that result. Wicked Tourist 2-0 over Jigawa Golden Stars. So as it is right now, Cecilia, Eimba
third on the log,
climbing up the table and looking good. But Rivers will have something to say about that on Wednesday when they take on Kano Pillars.
Because they will just go back to away
that's
from
if they
home.
win.
If they win,
Yeah.
but brimming from the confidence of going to Benin Republic and playing Bluefontein Celtic and scoring 3 goals and Gordon Aguda, they can't just stop scoring. I think there's hope for Rivers United. They might just want to get a draw from that game or maybe
would a draw
get
be
a
enough
win.
to take them to the top?
No, I don't think so. They need a win. Let me just check what the table is looking like right now. They need a win because right now you have a Nasarawa United 14 points, and they are on 12. So if they win that, they go top. If it's a draw, 13, they remain second. So they know what's at stake for them. But for the game yesterday, it was all about Eimba. They scored the first goals. The first 2 goals came. The first goal came just 8 minutes into the game.
Yep.
Then the second one, 2 goals in first half before what?
They put one back.
More like they woke up. Penalty from the penalty spot, right? That's how they were able to get. Bubaka were able to get that one. And of course, for Wiki, it was just a cool one for them. Nafiza Yahaya, that's 9th minute, and Promise Damala, 79th minute. He completed that for his team. And of course, for Wiki Tourists, well, they're looking good. They're looking good on the league table. At least they are not battling relegations like the likes of relegation. I just this game like Adamawa. So it's looking good for them. Second half of the log right now after 6 games. But you know how Nigeria Professional Football League is. So it changes regularly. They can have like maybe 12 teams, changing top position before the season will end. Okay, let's leave the English Premier League now. The Nigeria Professional Football League, and quickly talk about the games for today in the Premier League. There's some games for today. Of course, Southampton and Arsenal will be in action again after Southampton took them out of the FA Cup. West Brom and Man City also in action. Crystal Palace and West Ham, Newcastle and Leeds United are the games for tonight. And for Pep Guardiola, as usual, we're at least talking about the game. And of course, Sam Allardyce paying tribute to him, talking about the fact that that guy is more like a genius, right?
Sam is a firefighter, and that's why he's never gone on relegation before. And that's why Pep Guardiola is wary of this West Brom team tonight. Let's take a listen to Pep Guardiola.
During the season, but against Wolves, against Liverpool, against get some other clubs get a good results. In the past, West Bromwich draw here in the Etihad Stadium, draw against Chelsea. Like you said, so Sam Allardyce is a genius to take these teams when everybody believe it's over and get results. So, and what happened once, twice, 3 times, you can say, okay, it's lucky, but it's not the case because I've done, I don't know how many times.
Yes, it's done it countless times, Cecilia, and that's why
Pep has lost count of it.
Yeah, and that's why our West Brom fans are silently believing that they will maintain their top flight status at the end of the season. It's going to be tough though, because it's a very crazy season.
I know that relegation is between Sheffield, Fulham, and West Brom. We know that. Okay.
Yeah, but 3 are going down. So,
I mentioned the 3 already. Fulham, West Brom, and Sheffield. All right, let's just read, the tweet before we go. We have some time for the tweets this morning. Starting, okay, Noble Flyer Man, he says, I've had close contact with Abramovich in his private box at the bridge. He's a billionaire with 100% business mindset. You don't deliver, you're out. And sad to see Lampard go, but happy as a United fan. On the other hand, all the best to Tuchel. United forever, okay? And Dr. Kene also said that Lampard has managed to keep Chelsea in FA Cup and UCL, though floundering in the league. I believe he's living with his head up, unlike Arteta, who is out of FA Cup and 10th behind Chelsea, yet we are told to trust the process. Shows how ambitious both teams are.
Wow.
Okay.
Right. We have from Ogunfora Bosun as well, so you're saying Lampard's sack is not surprising, considering his win rate. And with the boom, the boost attitude of the owner, okay? Attitude of the owner, it was only a matter of time. And for Lampard, His win rate at just 1.67 points per game. It's
The lowest
in Roman's era. So,
yeah, 12 managers.
No surprises there at
Okay.
all. Moses as well too. Moses, you're saying, Abalaka, that you think Ibrahimovic was not fair to Lampard. He was not the worst coach in the EPL this season. He's also impatient. He should have given him until the end of the season. That's your thoughts, but you don't know Chelsea.
Okay, Kemi Michael Samuel says, "Oh, good news now. We can bring in another manager who the players will ultimately down tools for. Just like everyone before him, he will get sacked within 2.5 years, and we will be back here again, won't we? Yet another disgraceful decision from the club."
Because the start of his message sounded quite sarcastic,
Yeah.
so I can see at the end that he doesn't like it.
He doesn't like it at all.
Interesting.
And Damilare Godwin says, two things involved. If as a football manager, your goal isn't to compete for and win titles, then you have no mission at Chelsea. Number two, every manager will be dying to manage a club under an owner who will spend money on big players acquisition like Roman. Okay.
So I've got this one from Tunde. It's very interesting. You're saying we have tried the same things so many times, and the results not always fantastic. The sacking was harsh. Arsenal still has a Teta. So, but contrary to what is just said, Chelsea sack coaches and they still go on to win trophies, right?
Yeah.
Historically. So I don't know what it means by it's not been too
They're
fantastic.
back here again.
Yeah, but the sack coaches, they keep winning.
Okay.
So it's a
when was the last time they won a trophy?
If it's not broke, don't think just 2 years ago.
Okay, 2 years ago. But they didn't win any in the last season.
Exactly.
So that's why the coach was fired.
Coach.
So they think they can win one this season.
Come on,
they're not winning anything this season. Okay, Israel Aneka Uko said, Chelsea is bigger than Lampard as head coach. He could do well as an assistant coach. Oh, God. He doesn't look convincing. He's not motivating, always looking confused. He's not ready for big clubs. That's harsh. Come on.
Idris Abiola, Lampard does not have the technical know-how to be in Chelsea's dugout as the gaffer. I also feel his dismissal came too soon.
Okay.
Given the fact that it's taken Chelsea to the final of the FA Cup, its first season without Hazard.
Okay, Kingfisher will be the last one before we leave the studio. Frank Lampard seems to have lost enthusiasm and positive energy towards moving Chelsea forward. He will bounce back, hopefully, with when he had another club to decide, if another club decides to give him another chance. All right, thank you so much for staying with us. I'm Cecilia Omogbe. See you again tomorrow.
I'm Taya Salam. Enjoy the rest of your day.